Today's daily recap is for Monday, September. I'm like, what month is this, y'all? September the 29th, 2025, Monday, September the 29th. Well, Lizzo got to reunite with her son. Nina called them both to the hospital, Lizzo and Britt, and they're like, "What are you calling us here for?" And she's like, "Look, it's a family reunion." And Lisa looked at her and says, "Nina, I know your heart's probably in the right place, but I will not, you know, reunite or reconcile with this." And Brit's like, "Nor do I want to reconcile with her." And Nina is like, "No, at least no. Nathan is alive." And she looked at Nina. She goes, "I know it sounds crazy, but it's a miracle. Nathan is alive and Nathan is back. He's in the I've seen him, I've talked to him myself." And so Britt is kind of just looking at her, right? And Liesel said, "Okay, if he's supposed to really be alive, where is he?" So she goes, "He's in the hospital room." Right. So Nina takes her to the room, and as she's getting ready to go in or open the door for Liesel, Willow is getting ready to walk out. Willow took an opportunity to be so nice. The Willow we all know and love, so innocent. And Aunt Liesel saved my life. I was battling cancer, stage 4, and she gave me a bone marrow. Now, okay, so we do remember and acknowledge it was Lizzo who actually saved your life, right? Conveniently when she wants to. And when she wants to score points with this family member that really doesn't know her. See? So she can get on Nathan's good foot side before he hears anything bad about her or sees anything bad from her. So anyway, she walks past Nina. It's kind of like walks past, and the door, Nina steps to the side so Lizo can see Nathan, and the look on her face. She was so happy. And she steps in and he goes, "Hello, mother." But you should see Britt's look. I should have made that picture big. Britt, the look on, as a matter of fact, I'm going to bring that picture in solo just so we could see the look on Britt's face. To me, that told it all. Where is that? There it is. Oh, well, shoot, doggone it. It's too high. It won't fit the frame, but you can just see, look at Britt's mouth there. She ain't happy. She's not happy one little bit. And I said, okay, she knows something that we don't know she know, right? She knows something. And it was interesting. Even the way she kind of slowly walked into the room after Lizzo was just hugging him and everything and just talking to him and blah blah blah. So finally after a minute or two, she goes, um, "We should let Nathan get his rest." And Lizzo says, "No, I just got here. I'm gonna talk to Nathan." And he goes, "Mother, you're a doctor just like I'm a doctor. And in Nathan's condition, he needs rest to heal." So she goes, "And spending time with family also heals." She goes, but she looks at Nathan. She goes, "But Britta is right. I should get out of here. Let you get your rest." And so she stands up to walk out, and Britt was getting ready to walk out right behind her. And she goes, "What is the matter with you? You don't have a hug for your long lost brother?" And Britt looks, oh, so she slowly walks over because in my mind, I'm thinking, she know that's her daddy's mind, right? She knows that, which is why she was timid. And she reaches down slowly, and he's hugging her like Nathan. And she's like, "Welcome back." And then she stands up, and look at Liesel's face behind her. That was priceless. She's looking at her like, "I tell you, I want to take her out back." Right? Liesel is something else. So, anyway, there's going to be a huge story behind this because, yes, that's Nathan. And yes, he has Nathan's memories as well, but that's also somebody else, y'all. He's got his daddy's. I think it's an integration. We got integrated memories going on, right? So anyway, Felicia and Spinelli have James and Bobby, and they decide that they need to tell little James about Nathan because they don't want him to hear it anywhere else. You know, they need to control that narrative. So they break the news to him, and first he was like, "No, he's in heaven. He ain't. Yeah, he ain't here." So then they're like, "No, it was a big mistake," and blah blah blah. So he goes, "Well, then he wanted to see him, right?" So they're bringing little James to the hospital because Nathan had even told Liesel he wanted to meet his son. They're getting off the elevator, Felicia and Spinelli with James, as Liesel and Britt were walking out the room. And when Britt sees little James, she has this look on her face like, "Oh, shoot, we getting ready to bamboozle this kid." You know, she's, I'm telling you, there is a story to tell behind that. And she looks at James, and then she kind of looks towards Nathan's room. And I said, "Okay, Britt is telling it all without saying a word." So that's going to be interesting. I can't wait for that to unfold. Now, Anna is talking with ADA Turner. And of course, there's zeroing in on Michael. Okay. Because allegedly, the bullets used were the same casings that were found, I guess, in another crime scene years ago. It's from Edward Quartermain's gun collection. Now, they're going to have to, they're going to get a search warrant to search the house. They're trying to do it undercover so that the Quartermains can't hide anything. And they want to get the weapon. And they're saying who had access to the weapon. Well, of course, Michael had access to the weapon. Tracy had access to the weapon. But Anna says, look, it just doesn't fit with Tracy. If Tracy did shoot him, she said she would have let him die. She would not have called the police. So now that's leaving Michael because who else had access to the house? Nobody's thinking Willow sneaking in and out. Nobody's thinking her because she would know about the gun collection, right? Now, she also would have to have had time to put that gun back if she wants it back in that collection. See, there's way too much in and out. Way too much. But, I'm trying to think. She remember, she pretended that she was back at the house because Scout left her water bottle. She could have been trying to put that gun back in the house that day. And I'm going to tell you something. Remember, we never got to really see, did Chase leave her alone? What he in the house? What he should have said was, look, let's look for her water bottle together. That's what he should have done, right? Because Drew was shot and he knew Willow was a suspect. So why you creeping in the back kitchen door, Willow? Yeah, Chase has been in all kind of rules. Because if that Michael would not be stupid enough. See, that's the thing. And this is what they don't want to look at. Michael is Sonny Corinthos' son. Michael ran Sonny's organization at one point in time. Michael would not use a gun from Edward's collection. Michael is smart enough to use a gun that has no connection to him whatsoever or anybody. Period. And Michael would be smart enough to dispose of that gun. See, they're making it him be an idiot. Oh, I'm just going to use a gun from my grandfather, great grandfather's collection. Oh, really? That's not Michael. But that would be Willow. Because Willow has no access to a gun. She would. I'm telling you, it's definitely her. So anyway, we shall see how that kind of pans out. But Nina tries to talk to Willow. And so she goes, you know what, Willow? Because she goes, can we just call a truce? She goes, no, can't call a truce because you lied to me. And everything that has happened is because of you. So no, Nina, there'll be no truce. And Nina says, well, you know what, Willow, whether you like it or not, we need each other. We are each other's alibi. And Nina looked at Willow. She comes off the nurse's station and takes her to the side. She goes, no, you need me for your alibi. You are the one that Drew slept with and then discarded. You had every motive to want to shoot him. And Nina says, really? Because, let's see, because of Drew, you ruined your marriage. Because of Drew, you lost custody of your children. And Drew humiliated you. She says, out of either one of us, Willow, I do believe the police think you have the most motive, more than me. And Willow looked at her mother like, how dare you say it? See, that didn't quite compute in that brain of hers. Huh? You know? And Nina's like, yeah. So anyway, those two, good. I'm happy. But Nina is coming back. Every time Willow is giving her some kind of grief, Nina's coming back. So now we have Ava was downstairs talking to Rick Tottenham, saying you only got 10 days, 10 more days, and this will all be over. Oh, the plan is she is giving all the money back to the Ace's estate, minus her divorce settlement, which was the original thing. So she goes, so you're going to get nothing, even though Rick was the one injured. But anyway, right? So she says she makes him take a sleeping pill and drink some water. And he was like, no, no. And he's pretending like he's dozing off. And she's just telling him, you know, Rick, you brought this on yourself. We kind of had a good thing going, but your heart, you just had to have pure Elizabeth, right? So Ava leaves and he's allegedly knocked out. But when he's sure she's gone, he opens his eyes and he spits out that sleeping pill and he puts it under the mattress, right? And he's working on that tape. I guess they didn't shear up the tape again. So anyway, Alexis, she and Ava talk, and about how 10 more days, it's done, it's over, the whole nightmare is over. And she goes, you'll get to put that money back in Ace's account minus my divorce settlement. And Alexis says, yes, mine. And I'm thinking, Ava already spent what Alexis gave her back, right? So now she's really getting another divorce settlement out of it. That's really what she's getting. So, anyway, Alexis is talking. House is kind of dark. She's talking on the phone because the reading of Monica's will is tomorrow, and I'm gonna talk about Tracy and Veronica in just a minute. So she goes, well, that ought to be interesting. So she's telling her assistant, make 10 copies or whatever many copies she said of the will, leave it on my desk so I can, deal with it in the morning to have, everybody could get a copy at the reading. So as she's talking, Rick comes walking behind. And actually, that's kind of behind where the stairs are. And he's trying to sneak on by or get by, right? Now, my thing is this. Why is he coming from that direction? The basement where he was held captive is on the other side of the room because early, the first thing in the episode, it shows Ava coming out that door. It's the second door. Actually, it's the door closest to that wall over there. Because when Alexis came home, Ava was coming from downstairs. And I said, ooh, that's the door to the basement. So when Dante came to question Alexis, she actually came through the door off of her kitchen, which also is there's a door to the back, back door off the kitchen as well. So anyway, she and Ava talk about, yeah, we have the erasement, blah, blah, blah. She goes, Rick, I gave us a sedative. He should be in dreamland. Yeah, I know, out for the night. Well, guess what? He is out for the night, right? So we're going to see because look, in 10 days, he could go into hiding and get a hold of them bear bonds. And wow, so it's going to be a race to who could get a hold of the bear bonds. That's going to be interesting because Alexis is not going to find out he's gone until she goes to check on him before she goes to sleep. She better do it. Now, Tracy is talking with Veronica, who told her to call her Ronnie, because she goes, still, who are you trespassing on our property? And she goes, I'm here to pay respects to Monica Quarterman. She goes, that still isn't telling me who you are, right? And so she goes, oh, I'm Veronica Bard, but call me Ronnie. I'm Monica's younger sister. And Tracy says, oh, yeah, I know that name. You're the runt of the litter. Oh, I was like, oh, ouch, Tracy. The runt of the litter? Yikes. Right? And so she goes, oh, Monica spoke of me? She goes, no, Monica hasn't never, your name in the 45 years I've known Monica, your name has never come off her tongue. Ever. She says, when Monica got engaged to my brother Alan, I had her investigated. And that's where your name came up. So, yeah, I know who you are. But I also know Monica didn't want to have nothing to do with you because you two have never, you've never been in contact with her. She goes, well, it's true. My sister and I were estranged. And Tracy's like, mm-hmm. You know, um, at one point she said that, when they got older, because they were both in the foster care system, but split up. And Tracy goes, I know Monica came from the foster care system. I know her foster mother, Gail. I knew her, right? And so she says, but then when I got older, I had reached out to Monica and she was starting a family. She was married and, she was just very busy and she really did not want to connect at that time. So, of course, I was hurt and angry. I said some things and she said some things. And, we kind of stayed on our separate paths. She had her path and mine was a very different path, but I had my path. And Tracy's like, "Mhm, yeah, hmm, like you want some money now. Uh-huh, I see. Yeah, and now you and Monica are just reconnected. I believe that." And so after she finished, Tracy said, "I don't believe a word you just said." Said you and Monica have been in, communications with you. So she says, yeah, over the last year and a half. So Tracy says, okay, then let me see the letters Monica sent to you. She said, what? Those are private. She goes, and I know Monica's handwriting. I will know if, in fact, Monica wrote letters to you because I'll recognize the handwriting. And so she was like, Monica described you as, she said some attributes of Tracy, abrasive and blah, blah, blah. And Tracy gave that, she goes like, you know, whatever. And she goes, stick around. There's more, right? So she says, anyway, as she tells her, now you get off my property. As Veronica is leaving, she turns and she says, Tracy, you're going to soon find out that you're not going to get what you feel you're entitled to. And I'm like, okay, bingo, there we have it. Martin and her are in cahoots with one another. I'll bet you there's some kind of forged will, which in reality, everybody, how could there be? How could there be a forged will in Alexis's office? Right? Unless somehow, because Rick overheard her tell her assistant to make copies and leave them on her desk. Unless Rick hightails it to Martin and they somehow overnight can miraculously get together a forged will, right? Break into Alexis and Diane's office, swap out everything. See, there's just too much that is very unrealistic. It truly is. But that's what's going to happen. My guess is, my guess is, throughout this fake will, watch it say Monica left her house to her sister. When that's something she would never do. Because one thing that Ronnie said, I have a lot of great nieces and nephews, great nieces and great nephews that I want to meet because we're family and I want to give my condolences to them. And Tracy says, oh, absolutely not. Monica never had you meet her children, grandchildren, or great grandchildren. I'm going to honor Monica's wishes. I'm going to take her lead. You ain't meeting them, right? And I thought, now see, that's what I would do. Tracy, exactly. See, you're telling me how much you reconnected, yet Monica not once made sure she brought you to the house to meet her family. She knew she was, fading. But watch, she's going to inherit quite a sizable amount of something. Something. If it's not the house, then they're going to somehow uh give Monica's ELQ shares to her. That's yeah, I don't know. It's going to be something substantial and very unlikely, and we're not going to find out the truth. It's not going to come out until Erica Slasic's contract is only for a few months. I think it's only through December. 3-month contract. So this will all be wrapped up rather quickly. But it's going to be some devastation and turmoil while it's happening. That's exactly what's going to happen. So anyway, everybody, that is it. That's all that happened today. I'm going to go to comment corner. And I'm going to start my trusty dusty timer. Okay, here we go. I'm starting from the bottom, everybody. The bottom up, and I'm going to do 5 minutes from the bottom. Let's see. We've got X Star Zone 2. Jason also said, I love you, Mom, by standing by her white casket in the funeral too. I cried about that. And then Dacia says, Drew Kane definitely deserves exactly what he gets. Laura and Ned and Tracy were talking about having Drew voted out of Congress. Yep. Scout will be sad when she hears about her grandma Monica's death. I hope Alexis will get Sam McCall's new will. I know they just never got to that, right? To prove that Drew isn't Scout's biological father. That'll be some rewriting of history. Once the judge sees the new will, Sam will he'll definitely drop the charges and the restraining orders against Alexis, Molly, Christina, Danny, and Rocco. Once Drew Kane has been voted out of the Congress office, everything, including custody of Scout, she'll tell the judge she doesn't want to live with Drew Kane anymore, keeping her away from her grandma, Alexis, Molly, Christina, Danny, and Rocco. Drew Kane won't let her see them at all because his attitude against the Quartermains. Yep. And then Sylvina says, oh, wait, let me go up. So there's a comment above that. CD says, Daily Recap Lady, I love the same ending with Tracy and Drew. However, in my head, I imagined a recast epiphany, bum rushing behind Drew, followed up by Hat Daddy grabbing Drew's wheelchair and twirling him around. I can hear her say to Drew, sir, you have no appointment. Wait, you have an appointment at the rehab center at General Hospital now, and then taking his butt away, Dr. Tiffany. Cecilia says, I was crying at that moment too. Black, purple, turquoise. Cecilia said the black, purple, turquoise. So true. And then Hector says con, and then Hector says God bless. There we go. And I got to Sylvania's comment. Now, let's go on up where we have Deborah says, I love that scene. Yeah, yay, Tracy. Black Purple Turquoise says, I loved how Jason and Michael jumped up there, ready to remove Drew themselves. Like, listen, honey. But Tracy handled it with, I think, a lot of elegance and class, just like Monica would have wanted her to, and she would have approved. Drew and her were not on good terms when she died, and she never would have forgiven him for what he has and continues to be doing to Michael and his children. Willow either, by the same token. Now, Monica would not be. Michael turned her again. No, what you did turned Monica against you. Black Purple Turquoise says, I love Tracy Rowland. Drew, sorry, egomaniac, maniac, whatever, you know what I mean. Behind right out of Monica's service today. That scene was my jam this episode. It was like, go Tracy, it's your birthday. He's nothing but a mobster. He wishes he were a mobster, please. Drew doesn't hold a candle to a real mobster. He really is. Even Martin says he only went to said he only was going to the funeral to get a rise out of people, but Tracy didn't fall for that, as she handled the situation just the way Monica would have. She's definitely going to make a new fine matriarch of the Quartermain family. And when he took himself back to the hospital, he had the audacity to sit around trying to blame Michael and Jason for turning the family against him, and was throwing a tantrum because no one, rightfully so, stopped Tracy from evicting him. I was just like, Drew, bye. And then Joseph says, I think Monica should have should have left that will to Michael because he's her biological grandson. Black Purple Turquoise said to Joseph, that would could be the case. We will see. Now there's going to be some tomfoolery with that will, and it's not going to be straightened out for a little bit later. Cece says it was nice. It was a nice memorial service, but very strange who attended. I realized Portia had to represent General Hospital, but it irked me to see her with Stella. I can't stand her indignation over Curtis and Jordan after jumping Isaac. And then Krista says, where is Max Scorpio? Well, the actor is still fighting real life health conditions, so he's on very, very sparingly, very sparingly. And a simple mention says, it was funny. I expected A. I don't know what the rest of the A was going to be. Last comment is from Latrice. Highly daily recap lady. I am so glad to hear your grandson is home. Yes, he is home, everybody, and trying to make up for lost time running around playing. That's wonderful news. Praying for continued healing. Elizabeth was talking to Portia when she was saying why Jake and the rest of the grandkids were not at Monica's funeral. Thank you so much for that. You are right. It was Portia. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, that is it. I will be back tomorrow. Now, I read General Hospital might be preempted for sure tomorrow and Wednesday and possibly Thursday for some major sporting event. But for sure, they were saying tomorrow and Wednesday, but we'll see. If we do get an episode, I will be back.